Do you need to have completed an ultra marathon with shin splints, broken bones in your foot, and kidney failure like David Goggins to be able to say that you are mentally tough? Thankfully not. We can all develop mental toughness and resilience, the ability to bounce back without experiencing such extremes. If you're interested in becoming more resilient and being able to bounce back from the challenges and setbacks and stresses that life will inevitably throw your way, I'll be sharing 5 tips that can help you to become mentally tough. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Nick, and I'm a husband, dad, pops, coach and counsellor, and on this channel I like to share practical tools, tips and ideas that can help you to improve well-being and feel more confident to succeed in life. If you're serious about getting better at managing stress, then I want to invite you to get access to a free lesson from my Stress to Success course. It's designed to help you achieve more with less stress. I'll leave a link to it in the description. So the first step to becoming mentally tough, to being someone who's able to manage stress more effectively when the setbacks and challenges of life come your way, is to come to terms with the reality that you are not God. There you go. First step. You see, there are some things in life that you simply cannot control. The economy, the weather, the YouTube algorithms are all examples of things that are beyond your control, despite what you might think. Coming to terms with the fact that you're not in control of some uncontrollables will help you to be better at managing stress, and it's key to becoming more mentally tough. Truth is, if you fail to come to terms with the fact that there are things that are outside of your control, you're going to be constantly setting yourself up for disappointment, because every single day of your life you're going to realize that there are behaviors, emotions, circumstances that you just can't do anything about. I can be honest with you, I've never found it easy to let go, to let go of control. I like things to be in order, in their place, because that really helps me to manage my stress. But what I have had to learn over the years as well is that, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to dynamics with different people, I'm not always going to be able to control that. And to think that I can, and to try and convince myself that I can, is just setting myself up for failure over and over again, and significant disappointment, which just doesn't work in the long run. It's also really mentally exhausting and physically exhausting to keep trying to control everything, because it's like swimming upstream. It's really, really hard work. The reality is life is unpredictable, and it doesn't matter how much we try to plan, and planning is good. There's always going to be things that kind of come in as a curveball and hit us from the side when we're least expecting it. And we have to learn to just accept that happens. I think that most of the time when we're trying to control things, even though we know that life is unpredictable, it's coming from a place of fear. And fear, once it gets hold of us, can be really binding. It can stop us from moving forward. It can stop us from doing the things that we feel that are really important for us to do. And this is a real challenge. So I would say, instead of giving energy and time to things that you can't control, instead of us giving time to the things that we can't control, it's really important that we learn to let go, that we learn to hold things lightly, that we learn to accept that there are just situations, there are just circumstances that we cannot do anything about. And instead, what we can do is to give our energy and our focus and our attention to the things that are in our control. So the way we think, the way we speak, the actions we take, the decisions we make, people we choose to give our time and energy to, those are things that we can actually control. So that said, let me move on to the second tip for becoming mentally stronger and reducing stress. Right, the second tip is to learn to manage unhelpful thoughts and negative assumptions. And this is really important, because negative thoughts and unhelpful assumptions can actually cause you stress. They can stop you from achieving your goals, and they can be really destructive to relationships with the people that you love. So knowing this is really helpful to find a way to get them out of your head, and often it helps to be able to do that in a way that you can look at them objectively as much as that is possible. So enlisting the support of, a counsellor or a coach, or speaking with a friend. And when I say friend, I don't mean somebody who's going to basically just agree with everything you say and see things from your perspective, but maybe a friend who's happy to challenge you, who's happy to make you, consider different options or think about things from a different perspective, not just kind of focusing on what's going to kind of make you feel better about yourself and feel that you're right in what you're assuming or what you're believing. Assumptions can be really nasty things because what they can do is we're basically basing our actions and our decisions on things that we don't actually know are factually true. And because of this, they can be really destructive. Some common assumptions that I've heard and have come across in my work have been things like, well, they don't call me, so I'm clearly not interested to them. They obviously don't care about me. Or things like, he talks to other people more than me because he doesn't like me. Another one would be, she's not saying anything, so that probably means she doesn't care. Unhelpful thoughts and assumptions can actually be really difficult and can result in people shutting down in relationships because nobody likes to feel unheard, misunderstood, or worse, misrepresented. A really helpful way to process and manage unhelpful thoughts or assumptions is to keep a journal. By writing out what it is you're thinking and feeling, you can actually look at it more clearly and think about what it is you might need to address. Another thing that I think is really helpful, which I've used with people in the past, is inviting them to write their unhelpful thoughts or assumptions down on a piece of paper and then just tear them up, or if it's safe, burn them. This can be a really symbolic way of releasing yourself from the unhelpful thoughts and assumptions that you've been holding on to and that have actually been causing you stress and having a really negative impact on your overall well-being and possibly your relationships. You could also try other creative things, playing an instrument, creative writing, maybe some painting, drawing. All of these can be really helpful ways of expressing emotions creatively and in healthy ways. A third way to becoming mentally tough is to remember and use your power to choose. In learning to manage stress and become mentally tough, it's really important that you remember that you always have the choice, the power to choose how you react in every situation. Whenever you're faced with a challenging situation, whether it's a practical one like your car not starting or a relational one where there's some rupture and some fallout, you always have the opportunity to decide whether or not you're going to see it as an opportunity to nurture, to grow, to develop, or as a threat. If you choose to see the challenges of life as an opportunity to grow, then you're more likely to persevere and to make effort to fix and solve and resolve issues rather than running away from them or not facing them in the first place. If you choose to see challenges as opportunities, then you're more likely to step into them, to try and resolve things, to try and take action to see things improve. But if on the other hand you see things as a threat, you're more likely to not face it, to deny it, and to maybe even run away. The fourth tip is to do difficult things first, not towards the end of the day when you're lacking energy or motivation, but first. So if you're anything like me, you'll have got to the end of the day on occasions and felt really frustrated and annoyed with yourself because you've not done the thing that you set out to do at all. In fact, you've just put it off, you've procrastinated. So if you want to beat the procrastination trap, reduce stress and increase your mental toughness in the process, it's important to learn to get the difficult things done first, or as author Brian Tracy puts it, eat that frog. Not only does doing the difficult things first get them out of the way, giving you energy, time and space to focus on other things that you need to get done, but it also helps to develop mental toughness because what you're doing each time you do the difficult things first is learning to face challenges head on. One of the difficult things I do every single day, and I've done it for the longest of times now, to help build my mental toughness, that resilience muscle, is to have a cold shower every single morning. And I can tell you, in the UK, it's cold at the best of times. So to have a cold shower just makes it even worse. But I recognize the value of it. And to be honest with you, if I didn't do it now, I'd probably be quite disappointed with myself because I'd break a streak, which I don't even know how long the streak is now. I've been doing it for so long. So it's just part of my daily routine. If you also have cold showers to start your day, give a thumbs up in the comments to let me know. Tip 5 is to learn to lose gracefully. We all lose from time to time, and I can remember from a very early age being told the importance of being a good loser or losing well. And it's probably because my typical response to losing wasn't a good one. I would often sulk. But in learning to lose gracefully, what you're doing is you're learning how to bounce back from setback. You're learning the importance of being able to not give up, to dust yourself off and to try again. And with learning how to lose gracefully, what's really important is taking the experience and asking yourself questions like, what could you do differently next time? Or what have you learned from this that you could apply in the future? What one step could you take moving forward to see improvements in the very thing that you're trying to do? These are all really helpful practices in terms of developing your mental toughness, rather than facing things that are difficult, losing on occasion, and then just giving up. Okay, there you have it. 5 tips to becoming mentally tougher and reducing your stress in the process. Though I do like to think of mental toughness as something of a superpower, I'm really grateful that it's not something we're born with, but it's a skill that we can develop with time. So that said, I'd invite you to think about which of these 5 tips you could start putting into practice so that you too can start to become more resilient and mentally tougher. Also, if you've got your own tips for developing mental toughness and resilience, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to see them. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share. Remember, your likes and shares help me to reach more people like you with content like this. Quick question, are you really serious about getting better at managing stress? If you are, then look in the description below where you'll get access to a free lesson from my Stress to Success course. It's designed for people like you so that you can achieve more with less stress. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. And as always, rooting for you. Be well.